All righty, here we are at the Crystal Clear Point Studios with Miles of Smiles Events as our host and sponsor. And I'm Deborah Colleen Rose, and I'm wound up. I am
Hold
wound up.
on to your hats.
Hold on to your hats. I got mine on. Let me tell you something. I should be nice and relaxed and calm. Let me give a shout out real quick to somebody. I just came from a 2 hour facial at Baruti Spa in downtown Garland, Texas on Main Street. Don't I look lovely?
Yes.
I, and I felt really good. But I had an experience today that has shook me to my core. Oh, let me introduce Luann Morris, Lulu, and let
Hello.
me introduce Dr. Matthew Pierce. They're my posse.
Whether she likes it or not.
Yeah, they're my posse. But however, we all three worked a gig together the other night, and I had several people going, well, we'd like to talk to you about your services. Should we go talk to her over there? Is she in charge? I'm like, no, I am.
That's me. Don't
So
go anywhere. Stay with me.
obviously, I do not carry a name of authority with me. And Luann does. Luann does. So anyway, I did enjoy my facial. I did. I really did. But I came out of there sad and angry and irate and frustrated. And I wanted to punch some people in the face. And then I wanted
Not
to,
at the spa when you went
no,
up to
no.
the coffee
No.
shop.
I went there with that attitude and I came out still with that attitude. But I was more grieved, I think, more righteously indignant, grieved. Do you want to guess why?
Well, I know why, so it'd be a tough, you know, wouldn't be a guess.
So look at my shirt. What does my shirt say?
Always
Always
proud.
proud.
Don't look at my boobs. Just look at the shirt.
We weren't looking at your boobs.
So, and I put this on Facebook earlier, and go ahead and call me what you want. I bought this shirt because always proud means something to me personally. It's a personal thing for me. And I like color. So I saw the beautiful colors. I did not think rainbow. Never did it occur to me to think rainbow. Okay. And I will say this, the gay community does not have an exclusive right to the rainbow. Okay. The hippies
What?
do it with their tie-dyed, the metaphysical people do it with their chakra stones. A lot of people use the rainbow colors. Got it? So I
Got
thought
it.
this is the perfect shirt for me. And I wore it today with pride because I'm always proud. Okay. And I went to my local coffee shop, who I'm not going to call out, though I want to, because I
It's
don't know
not
if it's
their
their
fault.
well, is it or isn't it? Are you responsible as a business owner for the atmosphere of your establishment? That's something else we can talk about, maybe.
Well, I
Well,
think that people try to set the atmosphere. You can't, I mean, I know from, experience that, there are some atmospheres that don't work and there are some atmospheres that do work. I think that if you are a business person that if you try to cater to a certain group of people, that's going to be difficult to maintain. I've been in, restaurants that play only Christian music. And honestly, I mean, that's okay if that's what you want, but that's not really kind of what I want to hear, when I'm there. If you want to like be more, I don't know, mainstream, you know, match your music with what you're serving, you know. I would expect to hear country music or, whatever, if I'm eating barbecue, but not acid metal. So I don't know. I kind of have a different, kind of opinion on that.
Well, you know what? I don't even know what some music is Christian music, and I'm like, I would never guess that was Christian
Yeah.
music. So I mean, seriously, I like any place that plays 70s and 80s music. None of that, I block it out. So, but anyway, so here's how my little brain works. Okay, I have that monkey brain. So I order my drink and I ordered a sandwich, an egg sandwich to eat before I'm going to go get my facial that I loved. And normally they put it in a nice plate, and I sit there and I have a nice little, snack or whatever. And today it was in a to-go box. And I'm like, well, that's kind of weird. And I literally thought to myself, it's like they're trying to get rid of me. because you know what? Maybe I'm an intuitive. Maybe not. Who knows? And so I'm sitting there eating my sandwich, and I'm in the very smack dab middle of this room. And I'm counting the tables, and I'm looking at all the people around me, because that's what I do being a private investigator. I see what my surroundings are. And I noticed that there was about 34 to 35 people in this room spread out. All the tables had at least 1 to 2 people at them, but only myself and 2 other people had food. Everybody else just had a drink. And so I'm thinking to myself, how does this place stay in business if all they do is buy a coffee, or a drink? And because these people are just lingering. And I'm like, why would you linger at a coffee shop just to drink coffee? So now here I am down that monkey road going in the jungle trees. And so I'm looking, trying to figure out what everybody's doing at their tables. And some people had computers and some people had books, and they're talking. And I got to look at them like, oh, those are all Bibles. There's a Bible, there's a Bible, there's a Bible, there's a Bible. Okay, so they're doing like these little mini Bible studies. Well, that's kind of weird. Why wouldn't you want to do that in your home, where you can be more relaxed and more comfortable and have better access to a bathroom? Or, my God, there's a church within a stone's throw of this place, and they're all over the place. Why wouldn't you? So now I'm thinking about this. And so I'm kind of looking around, and I realize nobody's looking at me. That's unusual for me. Okay, no brag, just fact. All right. I usually get a lot of attention wherever I go. People look at me, they smile, because I make a point to make eye contact with people and to smile. I make a point of that. I feel like that's kind of my job. And I can't get anybody to make eye contact with me. I'm like, what the fuck is going on in this place? And then all of a sudden, I realized that the guy sitting right over here, catty corner to me, is looking at me out of the side of his eye. And I catch his eye, and he jerked his head real quick. And I looked down at my shirt thinking, and I went, oh my God, they think I'm gay. They think this old white married woman is gay. Heterosexual. I mean, really the preface, because you can be gay and married now. That shows you how old I am. Okay. And I'm like, this is bizarre. This is terrible. This feels awful. What must it be like to feel like this in your life every day? And I just got up and left. I just got up and left. I don't want to be there anymore. I may never go back to that place.
Especially from Christian people who are supposed to love everyone as they love themselves.
Well, let's lose the word supposed to. Let's put it this way. Christian people who have been modeled what love looks like, and we would hope that they would learn better.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the reason I'm doing that is not to give them grace so much, but so that we don't sound judgy, because we're not supposed to be judgy. But I'm going to tell you what, that was an awful feeling. It was an awful
But you were being judged whether you were homosexual or supporting homosexuals. It didn't matter.
No, I don't care if they think I'm gay. It's just the idea of that anybody, and I know, I know tons of gay people. I know a lot of people in the LGBTQ alphabet soup community. Okay, I was hit hard with loss during the HIV epidemic. Okay, so this is not something that's foreign to me. But the idea, and so I think I'm very knowledgeable, very compassionate, very understanding, very, very enveloping of this concept. But it hit me on a core that I've never experienced before, of saying, this is what it's like to feel this way every day. How awful. And I'm upset. I'm upset. Somebody
Okay,
talk.
so what is the solution for that?
I don't
think
know.
it's
I
difficult.
just whip everybody.
Well, but I think that I don't, not really sure there really is a solution, because as many people, that are out there, they're going to view you how they see you, no matter what. I mean, whether it's going to be that you're tall, you're short, you're fat, you're skinny, whether you're wearing a pride shirt or not a pride shirt, or if it's just something that you enjoy wearing, like a hat. You're always going to get judged. You're always going to have something come up. I mean, yeah, it's upsetting when it is something that is close to you, you know. I've had my share of, being in the spotlight as far as being called gay, you know. Um, I find myself that I'm very, shall I say, masculine acting, but I have friends that are not. And being a part of a community where we judge each other. I mean, we really do. Okay. I
You mean
mean,
the
the
gay
whole fact,
community does?
say again?
You mean the gay community does?
Yeah, absolutely.
Elaborate on that a little bit.
Okay. Well, I mean, you mentioned, that you knew a lot of people on the AIDS epidemic. Okay. Well, right now, the whole reason, like that, well, let's put it this way. I'm going to back up a little bit. You're going into the AIDS epidemic was a resurgence of men trying to be healthy. So going back to the gym and getting muscle and getting fit and getting the six pack and everything else like that became like paramount to the gay community because they didn't want to catch HIV and AIDS. And that has carried over to the point where if you're not a certain body type or whatever else like that, you are ignored inside of the gay community.
Oh,
What?
wow.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have like these people that are twinks, what they're called, and you have people that are twonks. You have people that, like, that's the only thing that they care about is being a gym rat. Okay. Luckily, there's communities out there that are more accepting. You have the, bear community, the guys that are a little bit more brawny. I mean, you have the BDSM community, which they accept you for who you are, you know. But then again, you get into the lesbians, and the lesbians don't like the, the gays that are, really haughty about their bodies and so on and so forth. So we judge I mean, our inside of our own community, we're very judgy. So, I mean, it's just one of those things that, it's not just Christians or, those types of people. The gays do it too.
Well, it's true. And even among the generations, like
Yeah.
I posted about this before we came on air on Facebook, and I was talking about my shirt and not realizing what it implied. And I said, okay, here's where you get to say, okay, boomer, because well, how many times did someone say, well, that's just that Generation X, or that's the millennials?
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
sorry, I have
Absolutely.
found some wonderful people in all of those generations that are thoughtful and have a great work ethic and and I'm not going to say that this is true, but most of the people that cause me grief in this world right now are old white men.
Mhm.
Okay. They're the ones that question who I am. They're the ones that question what I do, whether it be private investigations or intuitive empath or entertainer with intuition. Anything I'm doing, if anyone's going to give me shit, it's going to be an old white man. And by old, I mean anyone over 50. Okay. So, I don't know. I've been in a mood the past couple of days. I feel like there's so much oppression going on in this world. And maybe it's because I am an empath, maybe because I am intuitive. You can shield and shield and shield, and I'm a great shielder. I am a rock hard, rock solid shielder, but sometimes you just get tired,
Mhm.
you know?
So, I mean, going into your story of, being in the coffee shop, okay, and being gay myself, I'll tell you right now, one of the big things that's my trigger, okay, is someone using the phrase gay agenda.
I don't even know what
Okay.
that means. I don't even know what that means when you hear it.
Because it's something that the left has come up with. It's something those people have come up with that we're trying to push, being gay onto the heterosexual populace.
I
Okay.
don't want to have sex with a woman. How are you going to make me do that? Are you going to hold a gun to my head? You
Well,
know?
they just need it as a talking point. They need it as something that makes them a bit more superior. Okay. And let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a story. And when I say I'm triggered by it, I'm triggered by it. So I went to a very, very popular place to get coffee. And it's one of those places that, and this happened over in the mid cities. It
Hey,
was a
we
very
just should
popular place.
eliminate coffee houses. It sounds like they're the dens of evil lately.
Well, at this time, I mean, that's where people would go, to congregate. And this was before COVID and everything else. They would go to congregate and they would go to have their Bible study. Okay. Well, I was waiting for an appointment, and I went there to have some coffee, and sat down with my coffee, and you know there was a gentleman there, and he had like 5 ladies with him, and they were talking. And I was like, that's great that you can get together and you can have Bible study in the middle of a coffee shop. I think that's awesome. Okay. And so he's talking away and everything else like that. And, I'm just enjoying hearing him talk to the ladies and the interaction, like people do. And then all of a sudden he says, but we need to pray because the gay agenda
Uh,
is getting so prevalent in this community. And remember, it's my trigger. So I turned to him and I said, excuse me, did you say the gay agenda? And he's like, yes, I did. And I was like, okay, I'm so sorry to interrupt your Bible study. Um, but I didn't get my gay agenda this month. Are you subscribed to the weekly? Because I don't want to be a bad gay. So can you please lend me your copy of the gay agenda so I know what to do? Okay. It must be very, very important if you're bringing this up to your Bible study group that the gay agenda has something going on that must be very, very important. So I don't want to be a bad gay. Could you please tell me what's on the gay agenda for this I mean, like right now, because like I think it's imperative that I know. I was like, can you do that for me? And I was like, so you don't have your copy of the gay agenda? I was like, are you gay? And he's like, no, I am not gay. And I'm like, then how did you get your subscription? I mean, I had to show my pink card in order to get mine. So I want to kind of know what you had to do to get yours. Um, did you get like by default by like sleeping with a man? I mean, maybe you stole his copy.
He's like a badger. He gets a hold of something and he won't let go. Honey badger don't give a damn.
Okay, I kept going. I kept going until this man could not speak. Okay. He was a shade different than I was. Okay. But I could see that he was turning red.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. The 5 ladies that were with him, after about 3 minutes of me going off on him, okay. And this is, mind you, in the middle of this coffee shop, and everybody was listening. Okay. It got to the point where he was so frustrated, he closed up his stuff and walked out the door. And I'll tell you what, I didn't feel bad. I did not feel bad at all that I made someone get up and leave an establishment. But I will tell you this, when I stopped and I turned back around and took a deep breath, I was met with thunderous applause.
I bet. I bet. You know what occurred to me when you say that? You were accepting of them doing Bible study.
Mhm.
Can you imagine? Because I've never seen this, and I feel like I've seen just about everything in this world in some capacity. Have you ever seen someone of a non-Christian religion pull out a prayer cloth and pray in public? I haven't. And I
Yeah.
just wonder how that would be accepted at a coffee house.
Well, they probably wouldn't do it at a coffee house. I
But
mean, there
why
are certain
not?
rules, but
But why
I mean,
not?
like I said, there's certain rules inside of their spiritual beliefs.
But what if they get caught away from where they need to be and it's time and they're very devout? I mean,
Well, it happened at Richland College. We had a room they could go to, but when you're caught at a certain time, my coworker just kind of went into a little alcove
Yeah.
and was saying his prayers. He didn't get down on the ground, but he was saying his prayers. And I didn't say anything to him. I just walked by and went on into the office. And when he came back in, he goes, I'm sorry I didn't talk to you, blah, blah, blah. I said, I wasn't expecting you to talk to me. You
But I
know,
just wonder how many people would be comfortable to do that. So when we say religious freedom, is it really religious freedom in this country? Because freedom denotes acceptance, and acceptance denotes embracing, as far
well,
as that, not maybe not on a personal level, but on a friendly level. And if
Matthew's right though about, you know, I think that
did I make you
it's
cry?
not acceptable to them to just do that willy-nilly anywhere.
I
Yeah, I
get
mean,
it. No,
as far
I
as like
get that,
praying in
but
public, yeah, I mean, everybody has their certain things, but and people will ask me, well, what do you think about, the United States saying, that we have religious freedom? Okay. And I have to I mean, be honest, I don't think that we have religious freedom.
I don't either. I don't
I
either.
don't think that we have religious freedom because I think that we have religious tolerance. Okay. And there are certain levels of tolerance. Okay. I was raised in the Christian church. Okay. I was Methodist forever. Okay. And then I changed to non-denominational. Okay. And I'll tell you what, they had some really bad stuff to say about Methodists and Presbyterians,
Hmm.
and so I mean that's inside of the of Christianity in the Christian church, you know. I mean, people ask me, well, why do you, identify yourself as a pagan? Why do you identify yourself as a witch? And I was like, because they accept. I've been taught throughout my time with studying spirituality that it's tolerant. It's like if you want to be that way, okay. It's not my choice, but that's okay. You're on your path. You have your path. You're going to do what you do, and you're going to feel how you feel about God, about spirit, about the creator, whomever you choose to, call. And I think that we have levels of tolerance, you know. I, Honestly, I'm going to tell you, like last Friday, okay, I had a gentleman come to me and said, "Oh, well, are you part of a religious organization?" And I
No,
went, "Well, no." And then he said, "Well, I've kind of been sitting around listening to, the two other ladies with you, and they have a tendency to be, a little bit more like really careful with what they're saying, and it's like they try to kind of just be very, very calm about the whole spirituality thing." And I just kind of laughed, and he goes, "Well, what's so funny?" I was like, "Did you hear the one about the Catholic, the pagan, and the Christian mystic?" And he goes, "No." And I was like, "Look around." He's like, "No." And I was like, "Might surprise you." I was like, "But the thing is, we don't want to offend. We don't want to, we don't know who we're in front of, but we want to be inspirational. We want to be, intuitive, and we want to give people what they need." I was like, and honestly, you can't take and, I mean, would you sit down with me if I had a witch's hat on and, the pentacle plastered on my forehead and everything else like that? And he goes, no. I'm like, exactly. And he goes, "I want you to read my palm."
That's awesome.
So, I mean, I think that we don't have religious freedom. I don't. I mean, and I might be very unpopular for saying that. I think that we have religious tolerance and we have religious intolerance.
Well, and I don't even think that we should be aiming for religious tolerance. I think we should be aiming for religious acceptance, because acceptance and tolerance are not the same thing.
Thank
And
you.
and I had a lot of the similar experiences that you did, that you just described the other night. So he was talking about a party we all three were working. I'll just claim it. All right. And I'm going to tell you what, that was the most profound fun I have had in a long time. But it was also one of the deepest spiritual um, encounters I've had with numerous people,
Yeah.
numerous. And they all ask the questions. They all ask the questions, and I'm like, you know what? And used to I would sidestep those questions. I don't do it anymore. I'm like, I'm here to entertain, and let's just focus on your reading. That's what I would say. Now I'm like, you ask the question, I'm going to answer it. And I will tell them what I believe. I will tell them where I believe that my spiritual gifts are anchored in. I will tell them what all of that means. And I don't want to say I'm proselytizing, because I don't think that's what I'm doing, but I think I am leading by example when I
It's
do
part
that.
of your ministry, and I wouldn't be afraid to say that.
I agree. I agree. And so again, what that brings to my mind is I've been watching that series called The Chosen, which is about the life of Jesus, and I avoided it for years because I don't like religious shows as a whole, because I think they're real twisted as a rule. And I have been amazed at how good this is, because to me they've made Jesus look very human while still proclaiming his divinity, and made it look like these people might as well be driving cars and wearing Gucci shoes. I mean, they're just human, and they tell the story, they tell their beliefs, and people either accept it or they don't. And then they just keep telling their story if the people keep coming back, and they keep telling their story if the people come back. But there's no knocking on doors, handing them pamphlets, and we're going to cram this down your throat until you say yes.
Mhm.
So to me, that's what proselytizing is. It's leading by example and being accepting and nurturing because, okay, none of these people were Christians.
They were
None
Jews.
of them were Christians. None of them went to church and became saved and became baptized when they were 8 years old. You know,
They were Jews.
they would, well, some are Gentiles,
Some
some
were
are
Yeah,
Gentiles.
Gentiles,
but
you know,
I
and
mean, the Pharisees and the Sadducees, they were Gentiles.
right.
yeah.
Period. End of story.
So, I don't know where I was going with that. I guess I'm just so frustrated today. I'm just so
Well, I like what
disappointed.
you said about acceptance. Okay, because I think that is that's key. Okay, I try very, very, very hard to have that mentality. I mean, you've even said, it's like, I mean, you know, I'm here calling you on the carpet for your greatness, you know, you know, and how could I do that if I was not accepting?
Right,
Okay.
right.
I'm not trying to change your mind as far as your ministry. I'm trying for you to understand how powerful you are and to stand inside of that, you know? And
And do you
Luann's
know
going to
how
get a dose of
freeing
that
that
too.
was? Do you know how freeing though, how freeing this whole process has been? Because now, used to I would intimate things, and I mean, I talk about sidestep, in that movie, Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, where the governor do, ooh, I do a little sidestep. That's what I felt like I have done for years. I will say the truth, but I do it out of the side of my mouth. Bottom line is, damn it, I believe in God. I believe in what Jesus teaches. I do believe in good. I do believe in evil. I do believe that sometimes people are just assholes, but that doesn't make them bad people, and it doesn't mean they're evil. That just makes them human. It's pretty simple. I am probably like 8 years old in my belief system when you get down to it. I'm like an 8-year old. It's not complicated. I don't care about the history of the Bible. I don't care about all the different interpretations. To me, it's just really simple. Love each other, love God, do better. It
Well,
just
I would hope that I learned from my grandmother, who treated others by example. I mean, led by example. And I was talking to Deborah about this when she was saying, I can't believe these people judged me when they're sitting there with their Bibles. I had a cousin who was gay, and I'm not sure he ever talked to grandmother about it. I was not privileged to that. But when he would come, there was no, come in, sit down. What can I feed you?
she loved him. She loved
Yes,
him.
regardless.
But it's just ridiculous that they would judge over a piece of cloth. 2 words on a piece of cloth. How much power? How much power?
It
is
must be
in
the
our
agenda.
presentation.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was the agenda. It's the agenda.
I didn't
It was
have
in
the
this week.
agenda, or I would have preached it today. I would have preached. I started to stand up, but I didn't think I could control myself. And I started standing up and say, listen here, I've never been hit on by a woman. Lesbians don't like me.
And it's
They don't. I don't know. Women are not attracted to me. I don't know why.
you
Maybe I'm
should
too
have stood up and
masculine.
said, I can have a rainbow too.
I'd like to
It's
shoot a
like,
rainbow up your ass.
well, I mean, it's kind of like Deborah said, the gays don't own the rights to the rainbow. I'm sorry. Okay.
But you know
It
what?
was,
They'll call you out if you don't let them have it, though. I've had some arguments with some gay people too about some stupid shit.
okay.
You don't own the right to the rainbow.
Well, guess
You
what? I mean, the pride flag has changed. I mean, look at the change that is made. I mean, it's not the way it used to be. And it doesn't mean the same thing that, when it was created, it doesn't
what
mean.
is that? Explain that. I don't know what that means. What do you mean it doesn't
There,
mean what it
you had the original colors, okay? The red, orange, yellow, blue, indigo, green, violet, that was the flag, okay?
right?
And now you have stuff for the trans people, okay, which is the pinks, the blues, the white, okay. I mean, you have people that also, they identify, in other ways, the non-binary, okay. They have people that are transsexual. They have people that are intersexual. I mean, and so they've incorporated that into quote unquote the pride flag now. And so the pride flag isn't the way it used to be.
What is intrasexual?
Intersexual is when you were born, okay, you had both. So
Like a
you're intersexual.
hermaphrodite?
A hermaphrodite. Yeah.
I mean, that's still a right. That's still a correct word, isn't it?
Yeah, it
It
is.
is a scientific word.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so I'm not
So, I
being
mean,
wrong.
it's now everybody's like being included inside of that, you know?
Well,
And
did
so
y'all get
it's gone
together
through a
and
change.
vote and not let us vote? I mean, did y'all vote on these colors? I want to vote.
Well, I mean, I don't see why you can't. But
Did you
I guess
vote
apparently
personally?
you're straight, so I mean, you can't be that way. Well, I'm sorry. I mean, that we have bisexual on the flag. I mean, come on.
See, I
You
wouldn't
go
even
both
call
ways.
myself bisexual, but I'm going to tell you right now, if I was going to be bisexual, the thing that would do it for me is Linda Hamilton in The Terminator, where she's got on that wife beater shirt, and I don't care what you call it, that's all that it is a white t-shirt that you wear under your,
Yep.
and she's got that shotgun and she goes like that with one, oh, that's hot. That is so hot. I don't care what you say, that's hot.
Well,
You're like, oh yeah, baby.
I mean, there's only a few women that I would look at and go, oh, yes. Okay. And I cannot remember the actress's name, but she was in the film The Legend of Billie Jean.
Yes, my husband loves her too.
And I'm telling you what, she went through a transformation. And when she went through that transformation where she cut her hair really
Hmm.
short, like at
That
the
was
end of the
hot.
film, I was
That
like,
was hot. That
and
was
I don't
hot.
know, it just kind of made me feel that it's like that was so empowering that she was able to do that. And it just took her personality and everything to the next level. But I mean, that's as a gay man, I'm like, yeah, I like that.
Well, it was hot. But see, usually when women see women that they really think are attractive is because we wish we were more like that or we looked like that. I spent a lot of times in topless bars because of my business. And I would always inspect the breasts, but I'm like, oh, I wish I had those nipples. Those look too fake. Oh my gosh, look at that. That's a sexy, nice droop. Those look nearly, I mean, I admired the bodies. It didn't mean I wanted to
Mm.
do them. I appreciated the beauty of them. And I think the female body is so much prettier and more attractive than a naked male body. All men should never be without pants or shorts.
Well, I disagree, but we'll agree to disagree. How's that sound?
Naked men look like they need a diaper or something, a loincloth. Now, Tarzan in his loincloth is hot. But if you took that loincloth off, he'd be like, oh, you look really fragile. I bet I could grab that and lead you around easily. You know, that's not hot.
So do you want to hear a story about a quote unquote titty bar?
Yeah. You've been to a
Because I
titty
mean,
bar?
this kind of goes into the whole gay story and being accepting of gays and so on and so forth. When I was with my ex, we went to Bennigan's when Bennigan's was a place.
I
Mhm.
love Bennigan's.
Um, I loved it too. Well, when we went out, we met a couple of friends, and they looked almost exactly alike. I mean, they did. They almost looked exactly alike, and the names were Marnie and Stacy. Okay, Marnie and
Men?
Stacy
Both
were their
men?
names. No, they
Both
were
men?
women. These were women. They were beautiful.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
long blonde hair. Just they were kind of ditzy, but I mean, they had fun. I mean, they really did. They had fun. And so, we would go back, time and time again, and Marnie and Stacy would be there and they'd want to wait on us because they would always have fun. And well, we got to be friends and we started doing stuff outside, of work hours and so on and so forth. And well, we found out that Marnie and Stacy didn't only work at Bennigan's, they also worked at a gentleman's club in downtown Dallas.
Which one?
Um, God, what was it called? It was right off 35. I can't remember. I can't remember the name of it. I can't remember.
There's so many in that area.
Yeah, I can't remember which one it was. Anyway, well, that was the time that I had gotten my massage therapy license. Okay. And Marnie's like, oh, you have to give me a massage. You have to give me a massage. And she goes, but I don't have time. She goes, between working at Bennigan's and this place, she goes, I don't have time for a massage. And I was like, well, okay, well, we'll figure something out. And her and Marnie got to discuss, and she goes, you know what would be really cool is to have Matt come and massage the dancers. And so he could bring his table out to the men's club, and he could take care of the dancers. Well, he's gay, so I mean, it's not like he's going to be ogling the girls or anything else like that. So they promote. I mean, they went and said, hey, management, this is what we would like to do, and management was like, awesome. Like, okay, that's fine, not a problem. And so it's like, if both of you agree that, that he's okay, then, fine. And they check my credentials and blah, blah, so on and so forth. So I set up a table like, 3 days a week, and those girls were so appreciative. So they'd come back and they'd get massaged during, between their sets and so on. I had a great time. Okay. Well, so fast forward like about a month. Okay. And there were two gentlemen that I was working with, and they decided that they wanted to take and make sure that Matt was straight. So
What?
they decided on a plan. And the plan was to take me to a titty bar, okay,
Oh.
and buy me a lap dance in order to make sure that I could experience being straight. Guess what bar they chose?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
So we arrive, okay, and of course the manager's coming up to greet me, and I'm like, and she's like, okay, okay. And so Marnie did the same thing. She came out of the back and was like, and I'm like, and she's like, oh, okay, okay, okay. So anyway, we're sitting there, and we ordered drinks and we had cigars, and we're sitting there just talking away and everything else like that. And one of the guys there, I mean, did one of these, you know. Next thing I know, okay, Stacy is walking out and standing in front of me. And I'm like, what's this? And the big guy is like, yeah. He goes, we got you a lap dance. I was like, I didn't order a lap dance. He goes, you need to be straight. You need to be straight. So we got you a lap dance. And I was like, okay, whatever. And so Stacy started doing her thing. And she leans over, and of course, she is bare chested, okay, and she's sitting on my lap, and she leans in and she goes, "Don't worry, hun, we got you." And so, I'm sitting there with my hands on the side of the chair, as I'm supposed to, quote unquote. And she leans back and she has her hair and she's like, this, and she is like taking and just doing all the jiggling that she could possibly do. Okay. And then she looks at me and she leans over and she has her face towards the other two guys and she goes, "You can touch if you want to." And I was like, "Yeah, that's no." And I did this. Okay. And she grabbed my wrists and put my hands on her breasts.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Oh my
And of
gosh.
course, the other two guys were like, so she got finished and everything else like that. And they're looking pretty satisfied with what they did. And well, she gets up and she walks away and they're like, "How was that? How was that?" And I was like, "Yeah, it was okay." And he goes, "But did you feel anything?" And I was like, "Yeah, her breasts. They were soft." And he's like, "Are you kidding me? I'm talking about," and I'm like, "No, no." So I no sooner said no, I didn't feel a thing, then Marty comes out.
Oh my gosh.
I had 6 lap dances, 6 from all the girls there. Every single one of them put my hands on their breasts.
That's hilarious.
Okay.
That's
Every single
hilarious.
one of them. And the fact of the matter that they were free just pissed off those 2 other guys.
Oh yeah.
Just pissed them off. Okay.
Talk about
Did you let him in on the secret?
Um, Actually, the manager did. The manager did. Because John went up to the stage and was flinging dollar bills and saying, "Hello, hello, hello," and was being ignored.
that's hilarious. Talk about
And
true penis envy. True penis envy.
so he was just like, "Oh, okay, something's going on." So he called the manager as we're sitting there and he goes like, "I want to know what's going on." And so at the time, the or the manager was a big butch lesbian. And she goes, "Let me tell you what." She goes, "If you dickheads are going to come in here and try to make a gay man straight, you picked the wrong group to do it with."
Yep. Yep. That's hilarious
And
though.
so, yeah, but that's my titty bar. That's my titty bar story.
Well, I spent a lot of time in titty bars when I had my bail bond business, and I was privileged because I don't know if the rules is still the same because this is years ago, but used to women by themselves could not get into the bars. They had to be accompanied by a man.
Yeah.
And I was there so much meeting attorneys and posting bonds for the girls that were in trouble and different things that there was like 5 clubs up and down lower Greenville and in the downtown Dallas area and stuff that I could go in anytime I wanted to by myself. I mean, I was just that well known. And it I don't know, it's a very different world, very different world. There are some very sweet women in that business, and there's some really hardcore ones. But one of the things that I heard is a common thread with women is that they actually felt empowered.
Hmm.
They felt empowered. And I know that's kind of hard for some people to wrap their head around, but generally these women had been abused at some point in their life and they felt like they finally had control over their bodies.
Yeah. I know several of the dancers paid for, to get themselves through college.
Yeah,
One went through nursing school, decided that she wanted to go further. She went back to dancing and she put herself through medical school. Y- talk about acceptance, you know? It's like, you don't know what's going on in a person's life, that's going to motivate them and that it's going to like take them to the next level.
Well,
yeah,
and that's just it, when you pass judgment without really just by reading a t-shirt,
Mhm.
you don't know the story and you
nope,
don't know, you know, perhaps her child
that's what I was
was
going to say.
gay, not her.
Maybe I'm supporting my child or a loved one. I may be supporting my ex-husband. You don't know.
You don't. They wouldn't know. They wouldn't know. And so when you jump to a conclusion about what that shirt means, you know, that's on
Or,
you.
or maybe I just like the colors and I'm proud of what
Exactly.
I've been through, you know?
Exactly.
So why not ask questions if you really want to have an opinion, and otherwise just keep it to yourself, you know? Frankly, I wish somebody had come up and asked me. I'd rather deal with that than with the cold shoulder, blah, blah energy. The side looks, you talk about trigger, side looks trigger me. Side looks too. My phone, what the heck? I
Well,
thought I turned my phone on.
Get
I
that
did.
stink
I
eye.
turned the other one off. Okay. These people want to sell me my book. They want to publish my book. I'm like, it's already published on Amazon. And they call me once a week. They won't leave me alone.
which book is
Stupid.
that?
Any of them. Every week it's a different book.
Just
You know, I
any of
have
them.
32. I have 32.
Now, are
Overachiever.
most of those books like children's books, or I mean, okay, I'm actually genuinely
No,
curious.
two of them are children's book. One is about bipolar disorder in children, and it's my son's story. And then there was a whole line of curriculum written off of the theme of that book, because the theme of the book was, you know, he was happy that he got diagnosed with bipolar because it meant that he was sick, not evil, and sick can be fixed. That's exactly what he said. So there's a whole curriculum of books, sick can be fixed, for parents, professionals, and teenagers off of that.
Mhm.
And then there's another children's book I wrote about children when they're abandoned by their parents, whether it be through death or divorce or whatever, that I wrote for my grandchildren. And it's called Why Did You Go? And then everything else is either mostly curriculum based. There's one about the laws of the universe that I did with two other co-writers. How to become more spiritually aware, that I wrote with Sharon Cody, who used to be my business partner, and expand your spiritual gifts. And there's one about my spiritual journey as a Christian that's real simplified. There's all kinds of little things out there. I forget half of them. And then I was in the Chicken Soup book series, and then the Girl Behind the Fence series. I was in 8 of those books. I am an
Nice.
overachiever.
Good for you. Good for you. I
There's a
think that's
coaching,
awesome.
there's coaching curriculum books out there. But they're expensive. You can't buy them unless you buy the class. And there's handwriting therapy training books, things of that nature. And I'm still trying to write my life story. It's
Well,
not going.
how's the podcast going? You know, don't you and Luann get together weekly and do that, right?
Yeah, we may have to get you to join us sometimes. It's getting hard. And it's here's what I'm struggling with, is that I don't feel any shame about my life or regrets about my life, but I'm starting, as I say things out loud, I'm starting to realize how other people perceive things, and it's awkward for me. And, you know, because
Okay.
I've been told most of my life that I've had a tragic life, or I've been through a lot of shit, you know, and to me, it just feels like I've lived a life. It's just life. It's just life. And I've had a few people comment about, like, what's wrong with me because I've been married 5 times. And I'm like, why does being married 5 times mean there's something wrong with me?
Right.
You know? And so I don't know. It's just and then of course we skipped my second marriage because it's very emotional for me, because it was truly a love-hate relationship. We loved each other deeply, but I hated the way he acted. So and it was a very short marriage, but it was a long-term relationship. We were together over 5 years on and off, but we were only married for a year before he died. So I don't know. It's been a bit of a surprise to me, my own reactions. And I don't think it's as amusing as it would be if I was writing it. It'd be much funnier if I was writing it. So I'm just getting the facts down, and I'm using the AI summary on Zoom to pull up the information to help me put this in writing later on. So
I think it's awesome that you're doing that, you know. But I mean, I kind of agree because I mean, you know, people look at me and go, God, you had a roller coaster ride of a life, you know, and I'm like, I'm here. I mean, that's about all I can say.
well, yeah, and the other thing, and this sounds terrible, but I listen to other people talk about their shit, and I'm like, God, you had a boring life. You know, I understand why people die young. They die of boredom, you know. I mean, they went to school, they got married, they had children, they had a job, they traveled all around the world, and that's it. And if they're happy, I'm glad, but I'm like, I don't know. I like the fact that I've had all these different experiences. I like the fact I've known all these different people. And Scott and I were talking about traveling the other day, and I said, I don't want to go someplace for a 4-day cruise just to say I've been there. I want to go there and be there for a month or 6 months and immerse myself into the area, you know? And one of the most profound trips I had, we drove cross country to go see my daughter in Washington, and we wound up lost somewhere in New Mexico. We were going to go to the Indian reservation, and I mean, we literally drove 60 miles and didn't see another car or a human being. And we went up this little place, and I can't remember what it was called, but it had a big rainbow um, flower on it, and it was a cafe. And I said, you got to stop because I cannot pee outside the car again. It was 20 degrees. I was freezing my ass off, and I'd already done it once. And we went in there and we had the most wonderful meal. And what it turned out to be, there was this several buildings just gathered there, and it was a gay trans community that had come out there to live in safety. And everybody there was either gay or trans or both. And they had a little art class building with a little art museum and this restaurant where they did cooking classes. And then somewhere away from all of this was where they had little tiny homes. And then they were not fancy ones. Okay, they were like little sheds that they had put together with scraps and things like that. But they had this little community of people that were living there very happy and very peaceful. And we spent all afternoon there just talking and eating and talking and eating. And that was one of the most profound experiences I've ever had in my life. And we were talking about this the other day, and I said, I don't think we even know how to go back there and find that place. I mean,
Because you were lost in the first place?
yes. And I mean, it was out there between two mountain ranges. It was in this flat area. And it was, I don't know, it was just incredible. And every once in a while, the pictures of that place pop up in my memories on Facebook, and I reshare them so they'll keep popping back up because it really impacted me. It made me very happy.
Well, there you go. That's a topic for one of your shows, you know.
Yeah. So anyway, I feel better though I got all this off my chest today. That I was so upset. I'm so upset. I'm just
Well,
disappointed in people.
this also goes back to that time we talked about people having labels
Yeah.
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
what labels do to you. And so it's just another form of being labeled, and when no one knows your story. So
I,
it's judging someone but without knowing them.
I wish I had thought of this earlier. I wish I'd have gotten them go when it says gay, gay, gay on your shirt. It doesn't mean what you think. Remember the song like when it says Libby's, Libby's, Libby's on the label?
Oh, that's right. I remember that. Yes, I do remember that.
Then they could have thought I was gay and crazy. That'd have been awesome. All right, I'm exhausted. This wore me out. This is what happens when we do the podcast on my life story. I'm fine with it, but when it's over, I'm exhausted. And it kind of it surprises me how much it drains me to do it.
Well, is it drained or is it a feeling of like it's all out there now? I mean, you might be tired from like just taking and pushing it out and just letting it go. I mean, because
I,
I
I don't
mean,
I think it's somewhere in between all that because I don't have any problem talking about it. When people are interested and ask me the right questions, I'll tell them anything about my life. I mean, I really, I know people find this hard to believe. I don't feel any shame or guilt in my life. Number one, I could not be a Christian and feel shame and guilt and say I'm living in my faith because Jesus takes that away.
Mm.
So yeah, I've done a lot of stupid shit in my life. I've done a lot of weird things in my life. I've made mistakes, but I don't feel guilt and I don't feel shame. And I have done a lot of things that would probably just shock the hell out of people, or, you know, they don't think I'm a nice person or whatever. But again, that's on them.
Well,
So
I couldn't tell my story. I couldn't do an audio biography. I couldn't do it
why?
because I still have things that I don't want others to know.
I just figure people don't care. And so
Yeah.
I often wonder, is anyone even going to see this? So I went in with the intent that I'm doing this for me to help me in whatever way it helps me. And if people see it, just like this podcast, if people see it and they get a benefit of it, even if it's just a laugh, good, you know? And what's really sad, probably to a lot of people, is that the things that sound horrible in my life are the ones I laugh about the most, like getting my ex-husband circumcised. Still can't say it without laughing. I do. I'm so tickled with myself over there. He deserved it. But I'm not judging. I'm not judging. I cannot say it with a straight face. It's Scott and I've been married 27 years, so this has been 29 years ago, and I still cannot say it with a straight face.
Oh dear.
No, I'm a mean bitch. What can I say? Matthew's thinking I could say a lot of things.
I'm just
I want to play poker with Matthew. He does not have a good poker face.
no, I do not.
Well,
All right.
you know that saying that says, you know, I can control my mouth, but I just can't control the way my face looks.
I can't control either. Now, if I'm working, it's really funny. I had this whole PI persona. And when I'm working, man, nobody does it better than me as an investigator. But when I'm just being me, there's no control. I don't even try. So Matthew has been doing new branding and website stuff for Lulu on her apothecary, Ancient Herbal Apothecary. And I'm going to tell you, it's fabulous. It's absolutely fabulous. So Lou, tell them how to get a hold of you and your new website address and all that.
You can contact me through Luann, LUANN, at ancientherbalapothecary.com. And as soon as I get all my pricing straight out, I feel like a number cruncher. It will be www.ancientherbalapothecary, no spaces.com. There is a landing page there now, but I don't even venture to guess when.
Yeah.
Because I'm
Well,
still
she was sharing some of her secret recipes with me last night, and they are incredible. I cannot wait for you people to get this stuff and try it. It's going to be incredible.
It really is. I can't wait to try some of the stuff. I mean, she's gonna send me some recipes as well that I asked for. But Luann, I just want to say, like, I just want to acknowledge you, okay, that when people hire me to do the things that they do, so you're getting the experience of what I do, okay? And that's branding and that's everything else like that. And some people, um, would much rather I don't, go and challenge them. Like I'm challenging you with your prices and I'm challenging you with like how things look and so on and so forth. Um, I just want to really acknowledge you that you're taking everything in stride and you're doing a fantastic job. And so, when you elevate yourself to that status, people are going to notice you. They really are going to notice you. You have such a quality product. And I mean, how you feel about all of the ingredients that go into your products is amazing. I mean,
Mm.
I've never heard someone speak so passionately, about, the ethically, sourced and, and non-GMO and so on and so forth, and you talk about it and I'm like, don't worry about the prices because you are taking care of people like they couldn't even know. So,
Exactly.
And many people have said, "But can't you come down on that price? Can't you find something cheaper?" Of course I can.
yeah.
It's out there
But
everywhere.
why would you? I want the best. I deserve the best.
So this
Give
is
me the
not about
best.
cheap. This is about quality.
If
Yeah.
you want cheap, go to Amazon and order your own damn oils and sprinkle them on a cotton ball and smear them all over your face.
Yeah. I mean, we were having the conversation right before this, before we got on air, is that, there are some products out there that are 12, 14, $1,500.
Yeah,
Okay. And then when I pointed out that your stuff, even though you're raising your prices, okay, you maybe hadn't taken into consideration your time,
I didn't.
how much you put into it,
your
and how much
knowledge.
that, that you have to have for it if you wanted to be profitable. Okay.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, thanks for taking that on. I just want to acknowledge that because you're doing a fantastic job.
Well, and I will say this about this group. We do challenge each other. It's
Mhm.
almost like a bullfight. We're out there with our sword and our cake going, Toro, Toro, underlay, Toro. It is like having a bullfight sometimes because I challenge them, they challenge me. It goes around robin, and we're always challenging each other, but we're bringing out the best of everybody in the group. And I just, I'm thankful for it.
Well, and I love to take the suggestions and I love to listen to different opinions. But then when you say, well, it wouldn't matter if you, I think, yes, it does matter. And I'm not going to do that.
Right, right, right. All right. So, Dr. Matthew Pierce.
Well, you can get a hold of me in two places. You can go to connectionsdesignstudios.com, and you can go to matthewapierce.com. And then, of course, you can get a hold of me at my email, which is matthew@matthewapierce.com.
There you go. Awesome. Hey, you need to send me that new email because I've got the old one on my contacts.
Okay.
And I'll forget if you don't send it to me so I
No
can
worries.
save it. All right, now I'm Deborah Colleen Rose, and Miles of Smiles Events is our sponsor. We're an intuitive entertainment company. We come and tell fortunes. We can read cards. We can do palms. Dr. Pierce does a bang up job on that. I mean, smashing job on that. And Lou Ann is great using our life tapestry cards and her, what other cards are you using now?
I use the Zero Marchetti Oracle cards, and then for fun, I got one for romance readings.
Yeah, yeah. So we have all kinds of things that we do, but I do have to brag on myself a little bit and the company. We are an entertainment company. We are all gifted, but we are also our Miles to Smiles is primarily an entertainment company that brings really wonderful things to the table. So we have clients call us up, and go, "Hey, can you do something special for us? We want to honor our pet owners." So I'm like, "Sure, I can." And so 10 minutes later, I call them back and we're going to do rock hound readings. And we let the dogs pick out the rocks. We tell them readings about their dogs based upon the rocks, and then we give them a nice little necklace to go with it. Okay. People cry. They cry. They love the reading so much. We have a new Poppet blessing doll that we're about ready to break out that we're going to have to put some video together on because somebody wanted something that was like a voodoo doll, but not voodoo. I'm like, we got you. We can do readings based upon your choice of chocolate or wine or cocktails or beer or what kind of pasta you prefer or what flowers you like. We can give you classes on pendulums. We can do handwriting analysis, and of course, we can do kiss readings. So you got something that you want specially designed with your name on it, we can do it for you because that's part of being an entertainer. But we're going to bring our gifts to the table. So milesofsmilesevents.com. And then if you need an investigator to tell you who's screwing up in your life, that's Deborah Colleen Rose at isgu.com, Investigative Solutions Group. And then if you need some coaching or just someone to kick you in the butt, I'm the one. DeborahColleenRose.com. So there you have it. All right, you guys, tell them goodbye.
Bye now.
Bye now. See y'all
We,
later.
we will see y'all next week if the creek don't rise. Bye.